Hey guys, J-Man here, welcome to my video. As you can see, this is the first time using a face cam. I'm sure many of you imagine me in a different way, so sorry to disappoint you. It feels kinda awkward, but depending on the feedback, I may do more of these in the future. Today I want to talk about the new album True North by the Tokyo-based group Crystal Lake. People who are unfamiliar with the band should check out my From the Past review in the annotation or description of the video. There you will hear my opinion on their previous album design and also learn some facts about the history of Crystal Lake. Yeah, now people who know the band may wonder if True North will be a worthy continuation of this masterpiece. So let's find out together after the intro. Before we talk about the music, let's have a quick look at the release informations. True North is the fifth album of Crystal Lake and the third one with their new singer Ryu. It was released in Japan through Cube Records at the end of November. Early December it came to America through Artery Recordings. European fans have sadly to wait until February next year when JPU Records will release their version of the album. The album features 10 tracks, one introduction, one instrumental, so a total of 8 new songs with the length of around 35 minutes. So it's a pretty short and smart album. This being said, we will finally talk about the music. First of all, it took quite some time for me to finish this review, not only because of the technical difficulties, I didn't really know how to set up this whole facecam thing, but also because I thought True North really needs some time. If I'm quite honest, I was even disappointed after listening to it for the first time. You have to look at it the following way. The promotion for the album started really strong with this mysterious YouTube upload of a song which was delayed after 1 or 2 days, which was a really straightforward hardcore hymn. And yeah, it later turned out to be the song called 6 Feet Under, which now has an official lyric video. After this really aggressive song, there was the first music video, Omega. And Omega featured some of the most brutal vocals ever done by Ryu. So there were also 2 ultra heavy breakdowns and even some progressive riffs, to be fair, and some calmer parts. So I often heard comparisons with bands like August Burns Red for the vocals and for the music with Architects. As you may can see, I'm wearing an Architects shirt. I'm a big fan of the band and I can really see where these comparisons come from. There are really some similarities in songwriting and song structure, and especially the riffing has this typical Architect vibe. This is nothing new. I already said this in my design review that there are some parts which sound like this. Not a copy, not at all. Crystal Lake have definitely their own sound, but you can see that they really like them, to say it in this way. However, what I really want to say, these 2 songs, 6 Feet Under and Omega, were really heavy and brutal. And so many people got hyped in the metalcore scene for the most brutal album ever done by Crystal Lake. Now, after listening to the whole album, it turns out they went into a pretty different direction. Sure, there are other aggressive songs like the nu metal groove or Hatred with really bouncy riffs and aggressive rap vocals. But on the other side, or in contrast, there are many calm songs like Breath Deep or the second video single Black and Blue. These songs with sweet melodies, many clean vocals. This isn't exactly something new for Crystal Lake. I mean, we all remember great tracks like Mercury or Dreamcatcher from Design. However, how should I put it? This time I had a really hard time to feel the songs. I didn't get as much emotional involved as I did with the calm tracks on the last album. For this, it also doesn't really help that the guitar work isn't as much on point as it was on the previous album, because the previous album had really many killer riffs and really cool breaks, and when you were listening to songs, you already felt, oh, now comes this riff, and you your memory got every single one of them, and this time I don't really feel this way. Sure, there are really cool riffs in Omega or the title track True North, some really cool parts which you remember, but all in all there aren't as many killer riffs as there were on Design. Now looking at this, less riffs, calmer direction, does this make True North a bad album? Not really, or better to say not at all. After listening to the album over and over, I really started to enjoy it a lot. Songs like True North with its really heavenly chorus became one of my all-time favorite songs by Crystal Lake, and I also like the final track Waves, which has a really great build-up and nice flow. And yeah, these are examples where the new style really hits the nail. All in all, I would say it feels like Crystal Lake want to move away from this hyper-energetic and aggressive songwriting to a more mature approach of music, where they start to focus on melodic lead guitars and streamline their songs. I mean, if you have Design, there are songs like Prometheus, which really sound like they put 10 different parts in one song together. And here you have more traditional songwriting with verse, chorus. And it turns out this isn't too bad for them. They really know what they do. Sure, there are some songs like the mentioned Breathe Deep, which doesn't do much for me. I have a really hard time to remember it. But on the other side, there are also really interesting melodic songs like Metro, which are catchy and memorable. And on top of this, also have some nice experimentations like the vocals in the first verses. You never heard something like this on previous albums by the bands. So it's definitely a step forward, I have to say. If I had to sum it up for the final thoughts on this album, True North is definitely not on the level of Design, don't get me wrong, or you maybe already heard it from what I said. It's really not the same level, but compared to the international metalcore scene, it's still way above average. I mean, metalcore is really a genre where like 90%, and I'm not exaggerating, there are like 90% of the bands sound the same in metalcore. Now I take a look at my favorites from this album by Crystal Lake. My favorite is Omega, Hatred, and the title track True North. And all three of them sound totally different, and it's really refreshing to hear such a diverse album which explores so many directions. And yeah, it's a great example of a band which doesn't sit on their success and tries new stuff instead. And I think this is a really good perspective to see things different besides already getting the hype from metalcore fans all around the world. I would say this album is the breakthrough for them. Design already had some great attention, but now they are like getting in the big league of the genre. If you have to ask me for a rating, and I'm not a big fan of numbers, but I would call it an 8 out of 10 if we say Design was an 11 out of 10 to put it in perspective. So it's a really good album, just not this timeless masterpiece like their previous album, but I think this is really a once in a lifetime album, so it's hard to compare. Still a really, really great job. And I'm really interested to see how far they will take it in the future, what their new releases will sound like, especially with the mentioned growing success in the Western world. If it has any influence on their songwriting, we will have to see. I also hope, because I think it's really the right point in time right now, that they will do some overseas tours. They should really get finally out there to America or Europe or all around the world and promote their music, because I really think in the internet you can read it everywhere, in music forums, in Reddit and whatever. This band got a lot of hype, but now what they have to do is tour here. So let's see if this will happen. I would be really excited and I would definitely go there. Yeah, but for the album, it's a good album, not a bad one at all. So I'm quite happy with it. But however, this being said, we already came to the end of this video. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like or comment. I'm especially interested in your opinion on the album. Do you think it's a step forward, a step back? Is it better than the last albums? Or do you even not like their new style since Rio joined the band? Maybe there's some old school fans who like their old albums like Dimensions or whatever. So let me know in the comments. I'm really interested about this. And yeah, if you want more information about Japanese music, you can subscribe to this channel every time. I would be really happy. Or you follow me on Twitter, where I post some music links from time to time. You can also check out my playlists on this channel if you want to discover more great metalcore bands from Japan. So yeah, thanks again for watching and have a great day. Goodbye.